Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Vlog podcast. Today is Tuesday, June 26, 2018. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's FIFA Group B action and look ahead to Group C and D action for this morning and afternoon, respectively. Go over all the Major League Baseball action from yesterday. Look ahead to today's slate of games. Go over the NBA awards from last night and my thoughts on who won the awards. And I'm going to do the future, or not necessarily the future, but power rankings as of right now for every NBA and NHL team, as well as giving out grades for every team for their performances at the draft. Here we go. Group B action from yesterday. Iran and Portugal ended up in a 1-1 draw. Portugal advances to the knockout round. Ricardo Quaresma in the 45th minute got Portugal on the board 1-0, and Karim Anasfarad in extra time in the 93rd minute on a penalty kick tied it up at 1 apiece as Portugal advances. Spain and Morocco also ended up in a 2-2 draw as Spain advances. Morocco actually got on the board first on a goal by Khalid Boutiab in the 14th minute to go up 1-0. Isco in the 19th minute tied it up at 1 apiece. Youssef and Nesri in the 81st minute gave Morocco a 2-1 lead, and Iago Aspas in extra time in the 91st minute tied it up at 2 apiece, as that ends up in a draw, and Spain moves on with Portugal to the knockout stage. Group C action just underway, Denmark and France. My pick for that game, I said it on yesterday's podcast, was France and Australia and Peru. On yesterday's podcast, I said Australia. Group D action, 2 o'clock on Fox, Nigeria and Argentina. Argentina absolutely has to have this game to try to stay alive in this tournament, and they have to win this pretty much going away and in regulation by not drawing. They have to win outright. Give me Argentina here to advance. And in the other match, you have in Group D play Iceland and Croatia. I like Croatia here to keep its spot in the knockout round, as they'll end up with 9 points. Croatia had a good tournament. So give me Croatia and Argentina to end up in the knockout round. Argentina just absolutely has to beat Nigeria today. I picked them to win the entire tournament, and they're sitting here with an 0-1-1 record in FIFA play. All right, Major League Baseball action from yesterday. The A's defeated the Tigers 5-4 as they improved to 41-38. Detroit drops to 36-43. Lou Trevino improves to 6-1. Shane Greave drops to 2-4. Blake Treated gets his 18th save of the year. Bottom of the 4th, RBI single, John Hicks, 1-0 Tigers. Top of the 7th, home run, Steven Piscotty ties up at 1 apiece. Bottom of the 7th, 3-run home run, Nicholas Castellanos, 4-1 Tigers. Top of the 8th, sacrifice fly, Marcus Semien, 4-2. RBI single, Jonathan Lucroy makes it 4-3. Game-tying RBI double, Franklin Barreto. And in the top of the 9th, home run, Jed Lowry, 5-4 A's as your final. Edwin Jackson in his first start for the A's, 6 innings, 6 hits, and earned run, no walks, 7 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 1.5 ERA. Jordan Zimmerman, not bad either. 5 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, a walk, and 3 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 4.35 ERA. The Royals defeated the Angels 2-0 in the makeup game to snapped their home losing streak to improve to 24-54. LA drops to 41-38. Brad Keller improves to 2-2. Tyler Skaggs drops to 6-5. Willie Peralta gets his first save of the year. Bottom of the fourth, RBI single, Lucas Duda, 1-0 Royals. Bottom of the eighth, RBI single, Rosell Herrera makes it 2-0 KC as your final. Brad Keller, great outing. 7 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 2.25 ERA. Tyler Skaggs had a great outing as well. 7 innings, 7 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 2.69 ERA. The Yankees defeated the Phillies 4-2 as they improve to 51-25. Philly drops to 41-35. Yankees snap their mini 3-game losing streak. Jonathan Loaisiga improves to 2-0. Vince Velasquez drops to 5-8. Aroldis Chapman gets his 23rd save of the year. Top of the second, RBI double, Gleyber Torres, 1-0 Yankees. Top of the fifth, home run, Aaron Judge, 2-0 Yankees. Bottom of the seventh, RBI single, Scott Kingery makes it a 2-1 game. Top of the eighth, 2-run single, Giancarlo Stanton, 4-1 Yanks. Bottom of the ninth, home run, Maikel Franco, 4-2 is your final. Jonathan Loaisiga, 5 in the third innings, a hit, no earned runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 1.93 ERA. Vince Velasquez, 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 4.69 ERA. The Mariners defeated the Orioles 5-3 as they improved to 48-31. Baltimore drops to 23-54. Felix Hernandez improves to 7-6. Miguel Castro drops to 2-3. Edwin Diaz gets his 28th save of the year. Top of the second, 2-run single, D. Gordon, 2-0 Mariners. Bottom of the fifth, home run, Jonathan Scope, makes it a 2-1 game. Top of the sixth, home run, Denard Span, makes it 3-1. Bottom of the sixth, RBI groundout, Trey Mancini, makes it a 3-2 game. RBI groundout, Jonathan Scope ties it up at 3 apiece. Top of the seventh, wild pitch by Miguel Castro allows Guillermo Heredia to score. 4-3 Mariners. Sacrifice fly, Mitch Haniger. 5-3 Mariners is your final. Felix Hernandez, 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 5.1 ERA. Andrew Kastner, 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 4.7 ERA. The Pirates defeated the Mets 6-4 as they improved to 37-41. The Mets dropped to 31-45. Jameson Taillon improves to 5-6. Seth Lugo drops to 2-3. Felipe Vasquez gets his 15th save of the year. Top of the first, sacrifice fly, Josh Harrison, 1-0 Pittsburgh. Top of the second, home run, Gregory Polanco, 2-0 Pirates. Top of the third, RBI single, Elias Diaz, 3-0 Pittsburgh. Top of the sixth, 2-run home run, Josh Bell, 5-0 Pittsburgh. Bottom of the seventh, RBI double, Kevin Plawecki makes it a 5-1 game. 3-run home run, Wilmer Flores gets the Mets within 1. Top of the ninth, sacrifice fly, Elias Diaz, 6-4 Pirates is your final. Jameson Taillon, 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 3.96 ERA. Seth Lugo, 5 innings, 4 hits, an earned run, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 2.76 ERA. The Marlins defeated the Diamondbacks 9-5 as they improved to 32-47. Arizona drops to 44-34. Dan Straley improves to 3-3. Shelby Miller drops to 0-1. That was his season debut, post Tommy John surgery. Top of the first, home run, Jake Lamb, 1-0 Diamondbacks. Bottom of the first, home run, Justin Bour, ties up at 1 apiece. Top of the second, RBI single, Jeff Mathis, 2-1 Diamondbacks. Sacrifice fly, Shelby Miller, 3-1 Diamondbacks. Bottom of the third, RBI single, Starlin Castro makes it a 3-2 game. Bottom of the fourth, RBI single, Derek Dietrich, 3-3. 2-run double, Brian Anderson, 5-3 Marlins. Bottom of the eighth, RBI single, Miguel Rojas, 6-3. Bottom of the eighth as well, bases loaded walk, Brian Holiday, 7-3 Marlins. 2-run single, Cameron Maben, 9-3 Marlins. Top of the ninth, RBI double, Chris Owings makes it 9-4. Sacrifice fly, Jeff Mathis made it 9-5. That was your final. Dan Straley, 6 in the third innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, no walks, 6 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 4.82 ERA. Shelby Miller, 3 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Leaves the game with an ugly 12.27 ERA. The Rays destroyed the Nationals 11-0 to win their 4th in a row. The Rays improves to 38-40. Washington drops to 41-36. Blake Snell improves to 10-4. Gio Gonzalez drops to 6-5. Bottom of the second, wild pitch by Gio Gonzalez allows C.J. Cron to score 1-0 Rays. Bases loaded walk Willie Adames 2-0 Rays. Grand slam Kevin Kiermaier 6-0 Rays. Bottom of the third, wild pitch allows Jake Bauers to score 7-0 Rays. Bottom of the fourth, home run Wilson Ramos 8-0 Rays. Bottom of the sixth, 2-run home run Wilson Ramos 10-0 Rays. Bottom of the eighth, RBI single Jake Bauers 11-0 Rays is your final. Blake Snell was outstanding. He had a no-hitter through 6. 7 innings, a hit, no earned runs, 4 walks, 10 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 2.31 ERA. Gio Gonzalez only lasted an inning and gave up 3 hits, 6 earned runs, 5 walks, and 2 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 3.68 ERA. That was his worst start of the year. The Braves defeated the Reds 5-4 in 11 innings as they improved to 45-32. Cincinnati drops to 32-46. Luke Jackson improves to 1-0. Dylan Floro drops to 2-2. Bottom of the first, RBI double Ozzie Albies 1-0 Braves. Sacrifice by Kurt Suzuki 2-0 Braves. Top of the fifth, home run Scott Schebler makes it a 2-1 game. Bottom of the fifth, RBI grounder into a double play by Nick Markakis allows a run to score. 3-1 Braves. Top of the sixth, bases loaded walk Jesse Winker makes it a 3-2 game. RBI ground out Adam Duvall ties it up at 3 apiece. Top of the seventh, RBI ground out Joey Votto 4-3 Reds. Bottom of the seventh, RBI double Danny Santana ties it up at 4 apiece. Bottom of the 11th, the walk-off home run by Ozzie Albies. 5-4 Braves is your final. Mike Falta units, 5 innings, a hit, an earned run, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 2.14 ERA. Tyler Mahle, 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 3.98 ERA. The Rangers defeated the Padres 7-4 as they improved to 35-45. San Diego drops to 35-46. Tony Barnett improves to 2-0. Craig Stammen drops to 4-1. Keone Kela gets his 19th save of the year. Top of the fifth, 3-run home run Manuel Margot. 3-0 Padres. Bottom of the fifth, RBI single Elvis Andrus makes it a 3-1 game. Top of the sixth, home run Jose Perella, 4-1 Padres. Bottom of the sixth, RBI single Robinson Chirinos makes it a 4-2 game. Sacrifice fly Ronald Guzman, 4-3. RBI single Delano DeChill ties it up at 4 apiece. Infield single Sin-Soo Choo gives the Rangers a 5-4 lead. Sacrifice fly Elvis Andrus, 6-4 Rangers. Bottom of the seventh, RBI double Robinson Chirinos, 7-4 Rangers is your final. Cole Hamels, 5 innings, 9 hits, 4 runs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 3.61 ERA. Joey Lucchesi, 4 innings, 1 hit, no earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 3.57 ERA. The Blue Jays defeated the Astros 6-3 as they improve to 37-41. Houston drops to 52-28. J.A. Happ improves to 10-3. Justin Verlander drops to 9-3. Sang-Hwan Oh gets his 2nd save of the year. Top of the first, 2-run double Justin Smoak, 2-0 Blue Jays. Bottom of the first, RBI single Yuli Gurriel makes it a 2-1 game. Bottom of the third, home run Alex Bregman ties it up at 2 apiece. Bottom of the fourth, RBI single Alex Bregman, 3-2 Astros. Top of the fifth, home run Curtis Granderson ties it up at 3 apiece. Top of the seventh, another home run for Curtis Granderson gives the Blue Jays a 4-3 lead. Top of the eighth, 2-run home run Randall Grichuk makes it a 6-3 game. And then in the bottom of the ninth, George Springer thought he had a game-tying 3-run home run, but it was robbed by Randall Grichuk to save the game for the Blue Jays pretty much, as Toronto holds on and wins 6-3. J.A. Happ, 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 3.62 ERA. Justin Verlander, 6 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 1.82 ERA. That was perhaps his worst outing of the year. The Cardinals defeated the Indians 4-0 as they improved to 41-36. Cleveland drops to 43-34. John Gant improves to 2-2. Mike Clevenger drops to 6-3. Bud Norris gets his 15th save of the year. Bottom of the third, 2-run double Marcelo Zuna, 2-0 Cardinals. Bottom of the sixth, RBI double Colton Wong, 3-0 Cardinals. Bottom of the eighth, infield single Harrison Bader, 4-0 Cardinals is your final. John Gant, 7 innings, a hit, no earned runs, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 3.48 ERA. Mike Clevenger, 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 3.03 ERA. The Dodgers defeated the Cubs 2-1 as they improved to 42-35. Chicago drops to 42-34. Kenta Maeda improves to 5-4. Dwayne Underwood Jr. drops to 0-1. Kenley Jansen gets his 20th save of the year. Bottom of the second, home run Kiki Hernandez, 1-0 Dodgers. Bottom of the eighth, home run Chris Taylor, 2-0 Dodgers. Top of the ninth, sacrifice by Javier Baez. Got the Cubs on the board, but the Dodgers hang on. Kenta Maeda, 7 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, a walk, and 9 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 3.44 ERA. Outstanding outing by Maeda. Dwayne Underwood Jr., 4 innings, 2 hits, an earned run, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 2.25 ERA. Today's games you have this afternoon at 12 o'clock, Nationals-Rays. Max Scherzer against Nathan Eovaldi. 7 o'clock games, Yankees-Phillies. Luis Severino against Jake Arrieta. That's a sexy pitching matchup there. Mariners-Orioles. James Paxton against Kevin Gausman. Angels-Red Sox. John Lamb against David Price. Athletics-Tigers. Frankie Montas and Blaine Hardy. Pirates-Mets. Chad Cole and Steven Matz. Diamondbacks-Marlins on Fox Sports 1. Zach Godley and Alicia Hernandez. Give me the Diamondbacks to bounce back from the bad loss yesterday. That's a Fox Sports 1 game. 7:30, Reds-Braves. Matt Harvey and Anibal Sanchez. That's going to be a high-scoring game. 8 o'clock, Padres-Rangers. Tyson Ross and Austin Bibbins-Dirks. Twins-White Sox. Lance Lynn and Reynaldo Lopez. Royals-Brewers. Jacob Junis and Freddie Peralta. Blue Jays-Astros. Ryan Borucki and Charlie Morton. 8:15, Indians-Cardinals. Corey Kluber and Carlos Martinez. That's a sexy pitching matchup, too. 10 o'clock, ESPN, Cubs-Dodgers. You have John Lester and Ross Stripling. I was going to pick the Dodgers, but John Lester's pitched very well this season. I like the Cubs to bounce back tonight and get a good win to snap their 5-game losing streak. And at 10:15, you have the Rockies and the Giants. Chad Bettis and Derek Holland. Now I'm going to do power rankings, NBA and NHL. And I'll also go over the draft grades as well as I go through these power rankings. As I like to do on this podcast, I'm going to go from 30 to 1. And this is as of right now, opposed to the future ones, as I said I was going to do on yesterday's podcast, but I'm going to wait till free agency is over to do the future power rankings. Probably going to wait until August or September to do it, because then all the moves would have been made. Number 30, Phoenix Suns. I give them an A for the draft. They did the right thing by taking DeAndre Ayton, who is the best prospect in this draft, although I think Marvin Bagley is going to be the best player in this draft. Mikal Bridges, that was an outstanding trade-up for them. Elliot Kobo in the second round, great value. And I like George King out of Colorado. So my grade for the Phoenix Suns is an A due to all the great picks they made, and to put DeAndre Ayton and Mikal Bridges with Devin Booker and TJ Warren. And you also have Marquise Chris. I don't know what the future holds for Chris, though, and Dragon Bender. Those are two guys I think are on the chopping block a little bit. And I'm not sure about Elfrid Payton's future in Phoenix either. They have cap space. I won't be surprised if they try to make a run at Aaron Gordon. But they also have TJ Warren there, who I think is one of the more underrated players in the league. So the Suns have a nice little core now, led by Bridges, Booker, and Ayton. 29 is the Brooklyn Nets. Their draft class is Zanon Musa and Rodion's Carruthers. Carruthers is going to be a drafting stash, and I kind of like Musa. I give the Nets a C+. I think there were better options for them rather than the drafting stash option. They are a team that doesn't have that much top-flight talent. They have Rondé Hollis-Jefferson. They have Karis LeVert. Jeremy Lin's injury-prone. I like D'Angelo Russell. He was showing a lot of potential before he got hurt last year. I'd much rather have seen them pick a point guard with the 29th pick, like a Jalen Brunson or a Tony Carr or a Javon Carter. They could have even got Tony Carr in the second round, so my grade for the Brooklyn Nets is a C+ for the draft. Number 28 in my power rankings is the Atlanta Hawks, who I think had a good draft, trading back for Trae Young while collecting a first-round pick in the process. Kevin Huerter was a solid pick at 19, and Amari Spellman I like, but I think that he could have been a second-round pick. I'm surprised he went in the first. My grade for Hawks was a B+. Those are 3 solid players that they selected. And all 3 of those guys, I think, will be on the team next year to go with their core of John Collins. I don't know what Dennis Schroeder's future holds. Taurean Prince will still be on the team in all likelihood. I'm not sure about Kent Bazemore. I think he could be trade bait. Number 27 is the New York Knicks, who I think had a solid draft. They took Kevin Knox with their lottery selection with the 9th pick. And in the second round, in my opinion, they got a steal with Mitchell Robinson. And I think Robinson has a chance to be their starting center next year because Enes Kanter and Kyle O'Quinn both opted out of their contracts. And those 2 big men will be free agents. And Kristaps Porzingis is coming back from his ACL injury. Courtney Lee, I think, could be trade bait. I think there's a chance they finally get rid of Joakim Noah's contract. Lance Thomas could be trade bait. Trey Burke was solid for them in the second half of last year, as well as Michael Beasley. He had some moments for them as well because he took over as the starting power forward once Kristaps Porzingis went down. My draft grade for the Knicks is a B+. I like the Knox selection, but I would have liked to see them take a chance with Michael Porter Jr., but a lot of teams passed on Michael Porter Jr. It wasn't just the Knicks. And Mitchell Robinson was a solid pick in the second round for them as well. Number 26 is the Orlando Magic. They had a pretty good draft. Mohamed Bamba with their lottery selection, and in the second round, Melvin Frazier and Justin Jackson. I like Mo Bamba, but I'm not as high on him as some other people are. I would have been more intrigued to see them pick the versatile big in Wendell Carter Jr., who slid the 7 to the Bulls. I like Melvin Frazier and Justin Jackson. Those are 2 solid wing players for the second round. They look to re-sign Aaron Gordon. They still have Nikola Vucevic. They have a gaping hole at point guard, which prevents them from getting an A grade. So my grade for them is a B+ for the draft. I just mentioned them, my 25 team, and that's the Chicago Bulls. I think they had an awesome draft weekend. Wendell Carter with the lottery pick and Chandler Hutchinson with their late first round pick. My draft grade for them is an A. Those 2 players will step in right away. They'll play with Chris Dunn and Lauri Markkanen. And they also have Bobby Portis on the team. I think this team is going to make some moves this summer. They have some cap space, and I think this team is going to look to get better for next season. Number 24 is the Memphis Grizzlies, who I think had a solid draft weekend. With their first pick, they selected Jaren Jackson Jr., arguably the best player left on the board for them to take at that spot. And I love their second-round selection of Javon Carter from West Virginia. He's an absolute pro. He'll step right in, and I think he can be a starter if the team decides to trade away Mike Conley. Jaren Jackson Jr. will probably be starting at power forward for them, up front with Marc Gasol. I think the Grizzlies are trying to get better. They're trying their butts off to trade away the awful contract of Chandler Parsons. They're trying to re-sign Tyreek Evans. So it should be an interesting summer for the Memphis Grizzlies. And my grade for them for the draft was an A-. Number 23 is the Sacramento Kings. They had a great draft. Marvin Bagley, that was the best guy on the board for them to take. Or they could have gone Luka Doncic. But I think Bagley will turn out to be a better pro, as Bagley will join their young core led by De'Aaron Fox, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Buddy Hield. I think the Kings are going to look to make some moves. I think they want to trade away Zach Randolph's contract. I think they want to trade away Ivan Shumpert's contract. Maybe even Kosta Koufis' contract, because they have a lot of options and some depth now, especially in the front court. Does Willie Cauley-Stein stay a member of the Kings? That's going to be an interesting thing to see. My draft grade for them is A+, because I absolutely love Bagley, and I think he's going to be the best player from this draft class. Number 22 on the power rankings is the Dallas Mavericks. I think the Mavs had a great draft. They traded up for Luka Doncic, Jalen Brunson, and Ray Spalding in the second round, as well as Kostas Antetokounmpo, the brother of Giannis Antetokounmpo. As those young guys will join Dennis Smith Jr. on the team. I do not think Nerlens Noel will be brought back. Dirk Nowitzki is still going to be around. Doug McDermott's an interesting player that they acquired in a trade that I think can help them. Harrison Barnes is still on this team. Yogi Ferrell is still on this team. So I think the Mavericks are going to be better than they were last year. My draft grade for them is an A. Number 21 is the Charlotte Hornets, who look to be better than last year. They had a lot of injuries last year. They have a new coach in James Borrego. Miles Bridges was a solid pick at number 12 as they traded back. I like Devontae Graham, and I really don't love the selection of Arnoldas Kulboka, the Lithuanian forward who's going to be a draft and stash player for them. But Bridges, I believe, will be a starter right away. Jeremy Lamb's still on this team. Malik Monk has to be better than he was in year one. Kemba Walker's still around unless they trade him. They'd already traded away Dwight Howard. Nick Batum's still around. So this team, I think, is going to be interesting. My draft grade for them is a B-, because I really don't love the Kulboka selection. But I like the other two selections, though. Number 20 is the Detroit Pistons, who had an interesting year last year. They traded for Blake Griffin, but they didn't make the playoffs. Griffin's still under contract, and that's a hideous contract, by the way. They had 2 second-round picks, Kyrie Thomas and Bruce Brown Jr. Solid picks, 2 guys that could have been first-rounders. So my draft grade for them is a B+. Andre Drummond is still on this team. Reggie Jackson's still on this team. Stanley Johnson's still on this team. Luke Kennard's still around. Going to be an interesting year for Dwayne Casey in his first year in Detroit. Number 19 is the Los Angeles Lakers, who most people expect to be big players in this free agent market. As I like their draft. Moritz Wagner was a solid pick at the 25th pick. I was higher on him than others. I think he should have been a first-round pick, as he was. Isaac Bonga is an interesting draft and stats prospect, and Sviatoslav Milyachuk from Kansas is a solid player as well. He could be a stretch big in this league. I won't be shocked to see the Lakers try to trade some young players to attach to the Luol Deng contract to try to clear cap room to try to sign both LeBron James and Paul George. But if I'm them, I try to trade, I'd say Wagner and the Deng contract, or Josh Hart in the Deng contract, Brandon Ingram in the Deng contract, or Kyle Kuzma in the Deng contract. And I think they want to bring back Julius Randle. I know they want Paul George, they want LeBron James, but if I'm them, I keep Lonzo Ball. And you try your best to keep Julius Randle, and you bring in Paul George, and just take it from there. And spoiler alert, I do think Paul George will probably be in Los Angeles. I'm going to do my predictions, I believe, on tomorrow's podcast. But I'm not sure if LeBron James will be in purple and gold next year. My draft grade for the Lakers is a B+. Number 18 is the Miami Heat, who are going to have an interesting summer ahead. They have some hideous contracts on this team. I don't know if Hassan Whiteside's a part of their long-term future. They don't have a draft grade because they had no picks. Goran Dragic is still on this team. Wayne Ellington's a free agent. James Johnson and Tyler Johnson are still on this team. Is Justice Winslow available? That's remained to be seen. Deion Waiters is still around. I think they're going to try to bring back Dwayne Wade on a short salary. Josh Richardson's still around. Kelly Olynyk had a great year for them last year, but his contract isn't great. Number 17 is the Los Angeles Clippers. They had a pretty good draft, although I wasn't thrilled with the players they had selected. My grade for them is a C+. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander they traded up for. Jerome Robinson I thought was a reach. I think the Clippers are going to be better this year than they were last year. I think there's a chance DeAndre Jordan opts in. They have Tobias Harris. They have some assets. I think they're going to try to make some moves this summer. They're going to try to get into the Kawhi Leonard sweepstakes. I do not think they're going to be involved with LeBron by any stretch. Number 16 is the Indiana Pacers. My draft grade for them is a B. Aaron Holiday, solid selection. Elias Johnson, I like as well. Victor Oladipo just won the Most Improved Player of the Year. That was most deserving award, perhaps, of the awards show. Number 15 is the Milwaukee Bucks, a team I felt underachieved last year. I love the draft selection of Dante DiVincenzo. I expect the Bucks to be better. Giannis Antetokounmpo is a year older. Chris Middleton's going to be better. I do not think they're going to keep Jabari Parker, though, as I think he will flee them for somebody else. My draft grade for Milwaukee is a B+. Number 14 is the Washington Wizards, whose draft I didn't like. Troy Brown Jr. I think they could have traded back for, although I think Phoenix and Milwaukee and San Antonio like them at the 16th, 17th, and 18th picks, respectively. Yusuf Sanan, didn't love that choice in the second round, so my draft grade for them is a C-. I do think Brown Jr. will be a nice bench piece for the Wizards. John Wall and Bradley Beal are still around. Otto Porter's still around. Going to be an interesting summer for the Wizards. I think they're going to try to trade away the contract of Marcin Gortat this summer. Number 13 is the San Antonio Spurs. Yes, Kawhi Leonard's still on the roster, so they are still in the top 15. Lonnie Walker was a great pick at 18. Chimezie Metu was a solid pick at number 49 overall. My draft grade for them is a B+. Yes, Kawhi Leonard's still on the roster, so they are pretty high in my power rankings. And LaMarcus Aldridge is still around, as well as Pau Gasol and Greg Popovich. Number 12 is the Portland Trail Blazers, whose draft I didn't really love. I gave them a B- for their draft. And Fernie Simmons, I think, could have fell to the second round. Gary Trent Jr. is a solid pick in the second round. They still have C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard on the team. They're going to lose Jusuf Nurkic. He did not have a good year last year. So going to be an interesting summer ahead for the Blazers. And I gave them a B- in the draft, as I mentioned before. Number 11 is the New Orleans Pelicans, who's going to have an interesting summer ahead. Will they bring back DeMarcus Cousins? They picked Tony Carr in the draft. I think he'll be an impactful backup point guard for them next year. And I give them an A- for that selection and for their draft. Rajon Rondo, they're going to try to bring him back. Drew Holiday's locked up long term. Anthony Davis, you got to make him happy. I'm interested to see whether they bring back DeMarcus Cousins or not. Number 10 is the Cleveland Cavaliers, who were just swept by the Warriors in the finals. I like the selection of Colin Sexton, so I give them an A- for the draft. Their goal, though, for this offseason is to re-sign LeBron James and to make him happy. Kevin Love, I think it's going to be traded no matter what. Jeff Green's still on the team. George Hill's still around. The young guys that they traded for, Jordan Clarkson, Rodney Hood, and Larry Nance Jr., they all have to deal with this offseason because some of them are going to be restricted free agents. So going to be an interesting offseason ahead for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Number 9 is the Toronto Raptors. Their former coach, Dwayne Casey, was named the Coach of the Year last night. I do not think he should have won that award, not because he was let go. It's because Brad Stevens, I think, did a better job, and he was missing his best 2 players for most of the season, and he got his team to the Eastern Conference Finals as Casey's team. Although they were the 1 seed and they overachieved by some degree. But they've been in the high 50s in wins for the last couple of years now. But they were swept by LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers in the second round. The Raptors did not have any picks, so they get an NA. DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry both still around. I'm interested to see if one of those guys gets traded. OG Anunoby's a solid player. Norman Powell, I think, could be on the trade block, as well as Jonas Valanciunas. Fred VanVleet was in play for the 6th Man of the Year, but he did not win it. It happened to go to Lou Williams of the Clippers. So an interesting summer ahead for the Toronto Raptors. Number 8, I'm really high on this team. They had a solid draft, in my opinion. The Denver Nuggets, yes, they didn't make the playoffs. I love the selection of Michael Porter Jr. That was a steal for them, although he might not play next year. Second round, Jared Vanderbilt and Thomas Welsh. Those are 2 solid players. I give Denver an A for their draft. They're going to try to bring back Will Barton. They are a lock to Max Nikola Jokic. I think that's going to be the first tweet that Adrian Wojnarowski tweets on July 1st, that the Denver Nuggets and Nikola Jokic agreed to a 5-year, $147 extension. I think that's a lock. That'll be Adrian Wojnarowski's first tweet at midnight on Saturday night. So it's going to be an interesting summer for Denver. Will they keep Will Barton? I think they're going to try to trade away Kenneth Faried's contract. Wilson Chandler's still around. Malik Beasley's still around. Gary Harris is still around. Juan Hernan Gomez is still around. So this team, I think, is going to be much better than last year and should be a playoff team, because I think Kawhi Leonard's eventually traded, so that's going to take the Spurs out of the equation. Number 7 is the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're this high. Why? Because Paul George has not made a decision yet. As of right now, he's still a member of the Oklahoma City Thunder, as well as Russell Westbrook. Yes, Carmelo Anthony opted in. He had a bad year last year. I like their draft. Hamidou Diallo and Devin Hall are solid players. Kevin Hervey, solid player as well. I give them a B for their draft. Corey Brewer is a solid player for them off the bench, as well as Raymond Felton. Terrence Ferguson, somebody I think is going to be improving. Jeremy Grant's a solid player for them. Kyle Singler's a solid bench player, as well as Alex Abrinas. He's a good 3-point shooter. Number 6, I'm very high on this team, the Minnesota Timberwolves. They had a really good draft, in my opinion, with Josh Okogie in the first round and Keita Bates-Diop in the second round. Bates-Diop was a massive steal, in my opinion. Jimmy Butler's still around. Karl Anthony Towns is still around. Andrew Wiggins should be better. Gorgie Deng I like. This team, I think, is going to be better than last year. I give them an A for their draft. Number 5 is the Utah Jazz. I did not love their draft. Grayson Allen, I'm not a huge fan of his, so Utah gets a C for their draft. But they're this high in the power rankings because of the presence of Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert, and Rookie of the Year runner-up, Donovan Mitchell. I love those two players, and they're two great foundation pieces. I love Joe Ingles. He's a solid player for them. So I expect them to have an interesting summer, and they're going to be a very good team come next season. Number 4 is the Philadelphia 76ers. I did not love their draft by any stretch, but they're 4 in the power rankings due to the presence of Rookie of the Year Ben Simmons and Defensive Player of the Year finalist Joel Embiid. I did not like that they traded back for Zaire Smith. I thought that Mikal Bridges was a better fit. Landry Shamet I like, but I think that he should have been a second-round pick, although people liked him. Shake Milton I do like. Philly gets a C for their draft. J.J. Redick's going to be a free agent. Philly's going to be an interesting team this offseason to watch. Number 3 is the Boston Celtics. I love the drafting of Robert Williams. I think he'll have an impact for them off the bench, unless they use him as a trade asset for somebody. Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving are back. Jason Tatum was a Rookie of the Year finalist. I don't expect Marcus Smart to be back. Do they keep Terry Rozier too? Will Al Horford be back? I'm sure he'll be back. He's not going to get traded in any possible deal for Kawhi Leonard. So it's going to be an interesting summer for Boston, but I expect the key pieces to remain in place, maybe the exception of Marcus Smart. The Celtics get an A- for this draft because Robert Williams fell to them. Number 2, the Houston Rockets. I think they had a solid draft, although they didn't have a first-round pick. Western Conference regular season champs. D'Anthony Melton and Vincent Edwards are 2 solid players. I think that they can be in the Rockets' rotation next year. They have to bring back Clint Capella. Trevor Ariza might come back. Eric Gordon, I think, will be back. So it's going to be an interesting summer for Houston. I think the core will be back. And number 1, the Golden State Warriors, your 2-time reigning champions. They brought in Jacob Evans as their draft selection. I give them a B+ for that pick. That was their only pick of the first round. I think their main pieces will come back. Kevin Durant will re-sign. So going to be an interesting summer for the Golden State Warriors. Quickly, I'm going to do my NHL. I'm going to be very, very fast with the NHL rankings. 31 is the Ottawa Senators. I give them a C for the draft. I did not like their first-round selection of Jacob Bernard-Docker, who they traded back for. But the Brady Tkachuk pick was outstanding, so that's what keeps them with an average grade. Number 30 is the Montreal Canadiens. They get a B- for the draft. They passed up on Philip Zadina and Brady Tkachuk for Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Going to be an interesting offseason ahead. Will they trade away Max Pacioretty? They almost did to Los Angeles, but that fell through. Number 29 is the Buffalo Sabres. They get an A for the draft. They had an outstanding draft. Matthias Samuelsson is a steal in the second round. Rasmus Dahlin, they had to choose number 1 overall. Number 28 is the Detroit Red Wings. Outstanding drafts. They get an A+. I'm not going to keep going over every team's draft because I went over the draft a lot in depth on the weekend's podcasts. I'm running short on time. 27 Vancouver Canucks, they get an A-. They had a solid draft. 26 Arizona Coyotes, they get a C. 25 the New York Rangers get a C+. They passed up on some good players in the first and second rounds. 24 the Carolina Hurricanes, they get an A. 23 the Islanders get an A+. Some good players fell into their laps, courtesy of the New York Rangers and the Edmonton Oilers. 22 the Chicago Blackhawks, B-, courtesy of the Blackhawks too. Courtesy of the Coyotes. Courtesy of a lot of teams for the Islanders getting some good players. So yeah, the Blackhawks at 22 get a B-. The Dallas Stars are number 21, they get a C-. Edmonton Oilers at 20, they get an A. They had a good draft. 19, the Avalanche get a B. 18, the Florida Panthers get a B+. 17, the New Jersey Devils get a B. 16, the Minnesota Wild, a C-. 15, the Calgary Flames get a C+. Great trade for Calgary over the weekend, getting rid of Dougie Hamilton and getting back Elias Lindholm and Noah Hannafin. 14, the Los Angeles Kings get an A-. Some good players fell to them in the later rounds. 13, the Columbus Blue Jackets, they get a C. 12, the St. Louis Blues, B-. I expect the Blues to be better this year than last year. That's why they're deciding the power rankings. And plus, they had a good draft. 11, the Anaheim Ducks, B+. 10, Toronto Maple Leafs, they get a B. 9, the San Jose Sharks get a B. 8, the Philadelphia Flyers get an A. 7, Pittsburgh Penguins, they get an A. Some great players fell to them in the second round. Boston Bruins at 6, B-. Number 5, Winnipeg Jets get a C. 4, Nashville Predators, C-. 3, Vegas Golden Knights, C+. Number 2, the Tampa Bay Lightning, they get a B-. And number 1, Washington Capitals, B+. They brought back John Carlson, and they might bring back Jay Beagle. They're the reigning Stanley Cup champions now, and they get a B+ for their draft, and they are my number 1 team in the power rankings. They wouldn't be number 1 if John Carlson was not back. Quickly before I go, the NBA awards, I mentioned a couple of them already. The MVP, James Harden won it over LeBron James. I do not like that at all. I think LeBron deserved it. He was on a much worse team, and James Harden was on a much better team with a better supporting cast. Yes, James Harden had an outstanding season, but LeBron's the best player in the world, and he deserved MVP over James Harden. Defensive Player of the Year, I already mentioned it, Rudy Gobert, that's well-deserved. Sixth Man of the Year, Lou Williams, good choice. Did not love Dwayne Casey winning Coach of the Year over Brad Stevens. I made the case that Stevens should have won it over Dwayne Casey earlier in this podcast. Ben Simmons over Donovan Mitchell for Rookie of the Year was the right choice. Simmons was flat out the best rookie. Yes, he should have been a rookie last year, but he was hurt. But this past year was his first year, so he should have been the Rookie of the Year. And also, you have the Most Improved Player, Victor Oladipo. That is the most deserving award that was handed out last night. That's it for today's podcast. I'll be back tomorrow recapping FIFA Group C and D action and looking ahead to FIFA action for Groups E and F for tomorrow. Go over all the baseball and make predictions for the NBA offseason as well. Hope you guys have a great day.